Hey guys, how you all doing? Hope you are well. Welcome, and happy quarantining. Anyway guys, I just thought I'd come on just to really introduce my series. So I am doing a parenting skills series. It's going to be a 3-part series, and it's really just giving you the understanding and my experience as to what parenting is and how I found parenting. So out of it will come some tips as well, which I'm sure that you guys would like. You may find beneficial from it, and you just take. I think it's good for you just to take what you want from it. That's the whole point of it. Okay, so let's get to it. So the first, so basically, as I said, it's a 3-part series. We're going to, I think what I'll do is I'll focus on 0 till probably about 6 or 7, and that will be today. And then the next series will be from 7 till probably 11. And then we'll do another part, which will be from 12 till about 16. Then I'm done. Because my experience goes up to 16. So, that's just kind of led me on to the fact that, you'll probably know by now that I am a mother. I'm a mother of 3. My eldest is 16. My middle child is 14. And my youngest is going to be 12. So I've had quite a fair share of experience being a mum, and experience of all ages. Now, obviously, my children are different, from anyone else's out there. So it's not, this not kind of like a comparison type thing. Whatever you wish to get from there, you can do. It's just my experience, and my experience being shared with yourselves. Okay, so I think the first thing is, really just to talk about from the stages when a child is born. I had such an interesting experience with my first daughter. It was it was very interesting. There was a lot of emotions. There was a lot of attempts to be the best mum. What my version was of the best mum, I really don't know, but I had that care inside of me, that care that wanted to just do what I think would be right for my child, and I did. But it came at a cost as well. It came at a cost with my emotions, with my time, and I was quite exhausted, very exhausted. I was, I look at those days and I think, God, those were the dark ages, and I'm not afraid. That's why I call them the dark ages. Now, so obviously at that age, at that time, it's important to get as much sleep as you can. Don't feel that you're Superman or Superwoman, thinking that you can do everything. Get as much sleep as you can. Try to have a good balanced diet. Try and drink in lots of water as well. That helps keep you refreshed. And take the time out. Specifically if you're a first-time mother, because first thing you would want to do naturally is to be there for your child at every time. So you won't necessarily want you won't necessarily want somebody looking after your child. You probably prefer them to clean the house than to look after the child. As I say, that's my experience. That was me. So I don't know what you're going to be like or what you were like. But that was my experience. And that's exactly what I got from that. I think if I was to do it again, knowing what I know now, I would really learn to let go and just relax a bit more. But as I said, that was my first child. Nerves were flying everywhere. There was a lot of doubt whether if I was going to be a great mum or not. And, I just done what I felt was best. So kind of moving on to when they're toddlers. So when they're toddlers, it's just an interesting age, isn't it? Because they're running around, they're picking things up, they're exploring their environment, they're doing the most. and you are literally just running behind them, picking up everything, picking up everything around them. You're exhausted by the end of the day. They are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, and you're trying to correct them. I found that at that age, you're obviously all probably aware of it, but I found that at that age that the naughty step was such a breath of fresh air. It was like savior, I tell you. It was so good, because obviously you're not down for like slapping a child. You're not down for shouting at them. You don't necessarily want to project anger. You just want to let them know that what they're doing is wrong. And a more structured way in doing it is really by letting them know, by putting them on the naughty step. And it worked. It went really well. I think consistency was certainly a huge part to it. That was what made it successful for me, ensuring that I was consistent with it, and really kind of sticking to the time as well. So if it's 2 minutes, if they're 2 years old, I would give them 2 minutes timeout, and I think also letting them know why they were put on a naughty step is extremely important, because the worst thing you want to do is put a child on the naughty step and then them not knowing why they've been put on a naughty step. So, and reinforcement by, letting them know, be very clear with them as to why they're on that naughty step, why they've done what they've done, and how they're going to be there for 2 minutes, and ensure that they sit there for that 2 minutes. It's difficult, but eventually it works. One thing about parenting is that it's all about consistency. If you have that consistency, you're on your way to winning. Just like in anything in life, if you have consistency in anything that you put your hands on in life, you will feel that sense of satisfaction. So once they've kind of moved on from that toddler stage, they obviously get to the age of kind of 3, well, not 3, let's move on to about 4, 5. So this is the age where they start going to school. So when they start going to school, it's all very exciting. Well, it's exciting partly because you're getting rid of them. You're getting them out the house, which is great. I'm not fronting. Motherhood is hard. Okay, so so it was very exciting for me getting my kids to school, and it was nice, but you tend to find that when they sorry guys, the sun's really shining. So when they start going to school, they're going to now start coming home with some habits. So and the same for even nursery as well. So they'll be coming home with some terrible habits, and that would be them telling you what to do. Sometimes telling you no. Picking up words like shush. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of this sun. Right, so telling you words like shush, that's not nice, picking up words in that sense, and you having to kind of correct them. So that can be quite challenging. I think also at that age is a very good age for them to pick up, probably swear words as well. Now, I didn't personally swear. I'm not a person that would swear in front of my children. So I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any swearing. It just wasn't me, didn't appeal to me, and just didn't do it really. But some parents do, and if you do, it will be something that they will pick up on. It's something that it's really funny because kids pick up on things that you particularly don't want them to know. So kids pick up on things that you don't necessarily want them to pick up on. The good things that they should be picking up on, they're not picking up on that. So, and there's a bit of a mismatch there, isn't there? So I think, again, a lot of consistency is important. probably, discussing things in a bit more detailed with them, so they get to understand. And when reprimanding, I think, just for me, I learned to reprimand. So it wasn't in anger, it was more as in I was trying to get them to see, my point. So I would explain things in detail to them. And I think that helped tremendously, because that helped in the sense as in, mum's not shouting at us, because I think the minute when you start getting angry, I think the minute when you start speaking with much anger, that is when you kind of lose the battle. And that's the same situation you have anywhere. So you're out there, you're confronted by somebody, or you find yourself in a very uncomfortable discussion with someone, and the minute you start getting upset, start getting angry, you lose the battle, you lose your point. You could have such a good point to your conversation, and you lose that, you lose it, because you've become angry, and you've become angry in the wrong way. So there's nothing wrong in being angry, but being angry in a more structured manner is important, because it drives home your point. So I think that the aim for me was to always ensure that I'm driving home the right message to my kids. So I'm going to make sure that although I might be speaking very harshly, the words that are coming out of my mouth are probably quite sensible. I'm not just ranting. I'm not just shouting for shouting's sake. I'm not accusing anybody of any. I'm not being unreasonable. I'm not just accusing and just being nasty and speaking out of emotions. No, I'm actually trying to be as structured as possible with my conversations. And trust me, it's the most hardest thing ever. But you can certainly get there. You can certainly do that. The more you practice, the more you become more perfect at doing it. You might have days that you lapse. We all do, but majority of the times, I think the aim for me was to ensure that I'm here to set you on the right path. I'm here to I'm here to set you on that right path. That's my job. That's what I gave birth to you for, but the fact that you're my child and I love you, but my aim is to set you on the right track, set you on the right path. So I'm going to make sure I do that. And that was my theme, right throughout, especially those tough years between that 5 and 7 years of age. That was my theme, my aim, my focus, my vision was to ensure that I set them on the right track. And I would do it by ensuring I'm more detailed in my conversations. I take the time to explain to them, but explain it in a very stern manner. So I'm not just ranting on, but I'm explaining in detail and in a stern manner, ensuring I have that authoritative voice as well, because I think kids know their parents' voice. They're very, very good at picking up on what sounds like a happy voice and what sounds like, oh, damn, I've messed up. Oh, better run, or I've messed up, I shouldn't have done that. Oh my God, I'm in trouble. So kids know, they know what those voices are. So they know what type of voices those are and what meanings come with those voices. So I think it's just important to just ensure that whatever message you're giving across, you're giving it across in the right type of tone, in as much detail as possible, and you are you're doing it with the right intentions as well. And the right intentions, as I explained earlier, is just to ensure that you are driving, the aim is that, you want this. You want your child to get to this point. Yeah? I mean, one last thing I just want to say is that I think if you're thinking of having children, or if you got children already, for me, one thing that certainly works for me was that I had a bit of a vision as to what I wanted my child to achieve, to be, how my child got there. So I'm not talking about what my child would be career wise, but in terms of as a human being, And I never wanted a child with no manners. I didn't want a child that was disrespectful. And I'm not saying that some parents do, but I don't think it's something that's at the forefront of their minds. And because it's not at the forefront of their minds, they lose the sense of direction. They become overwhelmed with parenthood, and it just takes them away. So I think having a good vision board is very, very important, as to, okay, I've got this human being, I am responsible for this human being. Now, how do I get this human being to get to where I want them to be? I mean, my parents grew me up very well. They grew me up with love. They grew me up with respect. They grew me up with kindness and things like that. I might not display that all the time now, but it's something that I would certainly want my child to have growing up. And if you never grew up with any of those things, but you desire it, you're on the right path, because you're growing a respectful human being. You're growing as a human being that will fit into society, or, they might be controversial to society, but they're doing it in such a diplomatic way. They're doing it in a way that's effective. So you've got to know what you want to bring up. You want to know what sort of child you want to bring up. So if you want a well-balanced child, you've got to know what that means. What does a well-balanced child mean? So that's it. That is it. That is all. I really hope you guys enjoy the video. Just as much as how I loved sharing with you. I hope you got something from it. Said it's my experience, and obviously tips that I've given are just from my experience. It's up to you if you wish to take it, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, where we'll have the second part to this series, which will be very exciting, because at every stage comes different challenges. All right, take care. Bye-bye.